All right, so here we are going to be taking a Secchi depth, which is a standard measurement for water clarity in lakes and rivers. And this is a Secchi disc right here that you would use in a lake. It's kind of big, but it's sort of a standard size that we would use in a lake. And you can just see it has these black and white marks on it. And what we're going to do is lower this in the water column until it disappears. And at that point where it disappears, we'll take the depth of how far we lowered it, and that will be our Secchi depth. Secchi depth in rivers. And so in a lake you would use this large disc, but in a river that won't work. So we use something called a Secchi tube. A Secchi tube is a clear plexiglass tube that is marked in centimeters, and at the bottom of the tube is a small painted Secchi disc. So here we're demonstrating how a Secchi tube works to get a Secchi depth measurement in a river. First you have to fill the tube with water. Once the tube is full with water, you're ready to take your Secchi depth. You peer down into the tube and slowly release water from the tube. You wait until the Secchi disc just appears and stop releasing water. You look at the measurement of the depth of water on the tube, and that gives you your Secchi disc reading for that particular river. So that is how taking a Secchi depth works using a Secchi tube. Secchi tubes are really useful for shallower water bodies, such as small rivers and shallow ponds. In this next clip, we are going to actually take the Secchi depth of the Mississippi headwaters. Okay, so here we are in the headwaters of the Mississippi. We are filling up a Secchi tube to look at the water clarity in this part of the river. So Rhea is filling up the Nalgene because the river is quite shallow here, so we can't just lay the tube down. It would be a little tricky. So she's filling it up. She's going to fill it all the way to the top. Okay, so now we have the tube on the side of the river, and the students are going to be looking right into the tube, looking right down into the bottom of the tube. And if you can see the little disc at the bottom, then that means the water is really clear. Can you see the disc?
Yeah, we can see the disc.
You can see it. So how much water is in that tube? How many centimeters long is it?
120 or so.
So it's a 120 centimeter tube, and they can see all the way to the bottom. So that means that we would need an even longer tube to tell the actual Secchi disc depth for this